Good morning. So in this lecture we are going to see about the second point from the 10th chapter of 11th Food Science and Technology. Okay, so second point from the cereal pulses and auxiliaries, that is pulses. So in this lecture I am going to explain you about pulses. So pulses are edible fruits or seeds of leguminous plants. Pulses are the cheapest and rich source of protein, which can be considered as a lifeline for the vast vegetarian population of India. Okay, because whatever the protein is provided to the vegetarian foods is only from the pulses. Okay, so pulses are a richer source of proteins in vegetarian diet. Apart from being the food source of protein, pulses also contain substantial quantity of minerals, vitamins, fibers, etc. Okay, so with proteins it also contains some amount of minerals, vitamins and fibers. So amino acids composition of pulses is complementary to that of cereals. Means of complementary is that is pulses are deficient of amino acids which are present in cereals, and cereals are again deficient in the amino acids which are present in pulses. Okay, so mixed diet of cereals and pulses which forms staple balanced diet to majority of Indian population. Okay, so in our diet mainly or normally dal khichdi is prepared, that is rice, that is the combination of rice and some pulses, that is moong dal or it may be tur dal. So that uh, the mixture of this cereal and pulses can totally provide you the essential amino acids. So it gives superior biological value than either taken separately. So that is the reason why Indian whenever we see the Indian or traditional thali of India, then there will be one product, food product, that is uh, dal bhat. Okay, or dal rice, you can also call it as dal rice. So because all the essential amino acids can be provided with the combination of the cereals and pulses. So this is the reason why we consume dal with rice or rice with dal. Okay, so that all the essential amino acids can be provided by the combination of cereals and pulses. So here is one diagram in which here is shown the different pulses. Okay, so first one, that is Bengal gram, second one, that is the red gram, you can also call it as a tur dal in Marathi. After that, black gram, that is urad dal or urad dal. Next one, that is green gram, that is moong, moth bean, matki, lentil, that is masoor, horse gram, that is kulit, pea, that is matar or watana, Lathyrus, that is kesari dal, it is mainly present with masoor dal or lentil. After that, kidney bean, in Marathi we are going to call it as rajma, lima bean, that is pauta, cow peas, that is chauri. Okay, so these are some pulses which we use majorly in our diet. So name of the pulses in English and common name. Okay, so India is the largest producer of pulses in the world. The common pulses grown in country are chickpea or Bengal gram, pigeon pea or red gram, black gram, green gram, lentil, moth bean, horse gram, kidney beans and lathyrus, etc. Okay, so the name Marathi names of all these pulses are given in above diagram. So go through it so that you will understand better. So next point is that composition and nutritional values of pulses. So the composition of pulses depends on the species. That is, generally protein content of the pulses are almost high as compared to cereals. Okay, so that is the fact. When we compare cereals and pulses, then pulses contains high amount of proteins and cereals contains high amount of carbohydrates. So proteins, so usually pulses contains about 20% of the dry weight of the seeds. Some legumes contain up to 40% of the protein, for example soya bean. Okay, so next one, that is carbohydrates. Food pulses contain about 55 to 60% of total carbohydrates, including starch, soluble sugars and fiber, etc. In case of cereals, we have seen that the carbohydrate composition of cereals is ranged from 65 to 72%. Okay, so that is higher than the carbohydrate content of pulses. Next one, that is lipids. Generally pulses contain about 1.5% of lipids except groundnut and soya bean. Okay, so when we see the normal lipid or fat content of pulses, then it is 1.5%, but the exceptional cases are groundnuts and soya bean. They contain higher amount of oils. That's why we are going to use groundnut and soya bean for the oil extraction. Okay, so next one, that is minerals. Pulses are important source of calcium, phosphorus, zinc, iron and potassium. So the mineral content of pulses is quite good. After that, vitamins. Pulses are fairly rich in niacin, thiamine, folic acid, pantothenic acid. Here is spelling mistake. Okay, here given that pantothenic acid. Okay, so and vitamin C, that is germinated or sprouted pulses. So whenever we are going to sprout any pulses, then the vitamin C content will be increased into the sprouted pulses. Okay, so they are poor in riboflavin and carotene, that is provitamin A. Carotene is a precursor of vitamin A, that is retinol, and dry legumes are almost devoid of ascorbic acid. Okay, so whenever we compare dry legumes and sprouted legumes, then sprouted legumes contains vitamin C, but dry legumes do not contain vitamin C, that is the ascorbic acid. So processing of legumes and pulses. So what about the processing of legumes and pulses? So first one, that is decortication. So what is meant by decortication? The removal of seed coat is known as decortication. So all of you know that whenever we take the example of chickpea, then there is brown covering to the chickpea, and by removing the outer covering of chickpea, we are able to convert it into the dal. Okay, that is the two same size portions. Okay, so a number of methods are available for decortication. A simple method is to soak the seeds for short time. The husk takes up more water than the seeds and may be easily separated by rubbing while still moist. Okay, so that is the first method for the decortication, by simply soaking it in water. So the soaked grains may be dried and the husk removed by pounding and winnowing. Roasting is also another method of separating husk from seed. Okay, so roasted chickpeas are also used by roasting and salting it. Okay, so what are the advantages of decortication? It increases digestibility, it helps in removing anti-nutritional factors, improves appearance, texture, cooking quality and palatability. It also reduces cooking time. Okay, so when we split the pulses, then it will be converted into this dal. It may be red gram dal or Bengal gram dal. Okay, so these are the two types of dals which is produced from red gram and Bengal gram. So second method is that by soaking. So soaking in water is the first step in most methods of preparing pulses for consumption. The pulses absorb water and increase in size during cooking. Some water soluble nutrients will leach out into the water. This water can be used in cooking to minimize these losses. Okay, so this is the soaking method. So when we want to make a curry of chana, then we have to soak it at overnight. Okay, for the overnight. So when we have to make chana curry in the for the lunch, then we have to soak it for overnight. Okay, so this is the soaking, so that by absorbing water, that particular hard texture of pulses will be converted into the soft texture. Okay, so this is the soaking. So soaking makes pulse tender due to water absorption. It reduces cooking time. Okay, so without soaking, when we cook such a pulses, then it will take more time. So third point is that germination. So whole legumes are soaked in water for about 6 to 8 hours. The excess water is drained and grains are wrapped in a wet muslin cloth or placed in a basket and covered and allowed to germinate for 12 hours or more. Okay, so germination is nothing but sprouting of pulses. So all of you know the sprouts. So normally we use matki, okay, for sprouting. A lot of pulses are consumed by sprouting it. Okay, so normally we consume, or in Marathi we are going to call it as a mod anne. Okay, or sprouting is very common in our day to day life. So nutritive value of pulses. So here is one table, that is 10.3, that is nutritive value of pulses per 100 gram of pulses. So the nutritional values in the terms of protein, fat, carbohydrates, energies, which will be provided in kilocalories, calcium in milligram, phosphorus in also milligram, and iron in also milligram. So go through this table and see what is the nutritional value of each and every pulse. So water is sprinkled twice or thrice a day because humidity and warmth are essential for germination. The most popular preparation made from germinated legumes is usad. Okay, so in our diet it is very common, that is sprouted pulses, or in Marathi we are going to call it as a usad. Okay, so it may be of matki or it may be of harbara. Okay, that is the chickpea. So what are the advantages of germination? It reduces cooking time. Second, that is starches and proteins are converted to simpler substances, thereby improving the digestibility and availability of nutrients. So whatever the availability of nutrients is increased during the germination or sprouting. Third point is that vitamin B complex and vitamin C content increases. So whatever the vitamin C content in dry pulses is increased during the sprouting of same pulses. Fourth one, that is germinated pulses add variety to diet. Okay. Fifth one, that is germination imparts sweet taste and soft texture. Hence, the sprouted legumes like green gram can be consumed raw or slightly cooked. Sixth one, that is it does not produce gas or flatulence. So this is one very important characteristics of germinated pulses, that they do not produce gas or flatulence. Okay, then what about the disadvantages of germination? The nutrient loss may take place if the water in which the pulses are soaked is not used. Okay, so whatever the water in which we are in which that particular pulse is soaked, we have to use that water for making curry or making soaps. Okay, neither it will be drained or it will be lost and we do not get that nutrients. Second one, that is over sprouting may results in the development of unpleasant flavor or taste. So after 6 to 8 hours you should remove that particular pulses from water, and you have to wrap it into clean cotton or muslin clothes. Okay, or you can also use the porous utensil. Okay, and if you not remove that particular pulses from water, then one specific or very dirty smell will be formed into that particular pulses. So here is sprouted legumes in the diagrams, and also sprouted mung, that is green gram, is shown in this diagram. Okay, so by seeing this diagram you will get the germination uh, by better way. Okay, so next point is that fermentation. Then what is fermentation of pulses? So soybean is the important example of fermented pulses. Some fermented products of soybean are soya sauce, soybean paste, tempeh and natto. Okay, so all of you know the soya sauce which we use for the preparation of Manchurian, that is gobi Manchurian, soybean paste, tempeh and natto. Okay, so here is one diagram in this. This is the diagram of tempeh, which is a fermented products made by soybean. Okay, so advantages of fermentation: it also increases vitamin C and vitamin B complex. Second, that is, it improves the texture and flavor of the products. Third one, increases the digestibility, palatability and nutritional value of the product. Fourth one, that is, toxic substances can be eliminated by fermentation. Fifth one, that is, it also imparts specific aroma and taste to the product, and it makes the product light and fluffy. Okay, so these are the advantages of fermentation. And one disadvantage is there: store bought items lose beneficial bacteria. Okay, so we don't have to store the fermented product for longer time. Next one, that is use of pulses in cookery. Then how we use the pulses in cookery, that is for the cooking purpose. So first one, that is thickening. So thickening agents give body consistency and palatability when used. So pulses can improve the thickening of that particular food product. So pulses are used as a thickening agent and prevent curdling. For example, Bengal gram flour in curry or pitla and vegetable curries. Okay, so these are so or very common food products which we make in our home, that is curry. Okay, we use Bengal gram flour in the curry for the to increase the thickness of curry. After that, pitla, that is in some areas pitla is also known as besan. Okay, and or you can also call it as a zunka, and vegetable curries. Okay, so this is the first use, that is we can use it as a thickening agent. Okay, so here is one diagram in which you will see the pitla, that is in which the besan is or the gram flour is used as a thickening agent. Next one, that is a binding agent. So we can also use the pulses as a binding agents. So binding agents are used to form a mixture of ingredients into a cohesive mass. They are used in desserts, potato and mirchi bhajia. So Bengal gram flour is used in preparation of leafy vegetables such as sambar vadi. Okay, so a lot of types of vadis are prepared in our traditional cuisines, that is thape vadi. Okay, or you can also make कोलोकॅशिया लिव्स वडी, दॅट इज आपल्याकडे नॉर्मली त्याला अळूची पानं असं आपण म्हणतो. ठीक आहे, सो अळूच्या पानांच्या वड्या पण आपण विथ द हेल्प ऑफ बेंगल ग्राम फ्लोअर तयार करू शकतो. ठीक आहे, सो सांबार वडी, दॅट इज एक्झाम्पल ऑफ बाइंडिंग एजंट ऑफ पल्सेस. Okay, so here are two methods, that is method 1 and method 2. These are the normally methods for making of dal from the pulses. Okay, so method 1 and method 2. So sources, this diagram is taken from Indian Institute of Pulses Research and Kanpur. So figure, that is dal making process developed by Andhra Pradesh and Maharashtra, that is method 1, and Madhya Pradesh and Maharashtra, that is method 2. Okay, so we will see both these two methods one by one. So method 1, in method 1 we have to take the seed material, that is pulses. It may be Bengal gram, it may be moong gram, that is green gram. Okay, so you have to take the pulse. After that you have to clean it. Okay, so there may be there is no any foreign material into that particular seed materials, so that is cleaning. It may be the foreign materials like stones or part of plant. Okay, or any leaf, so we don't want anything, so we have to clean it properly. After that, oil and turmeric treatment. So to the that particular pulses, oil and turmeric is uh, added to the pulses, and then they are mixed properly, so that there will be the equal or equal distribution of oil and turmeric. Okay, so when we apply oil and turmeric to the pulses, then it will be taken into proper proportion which is given in that particular standard method. After that, tempering is nothing but conditioning of that particular pulses. Okay, so after applying oil and turmeric, we have to keep it under step for some time. Okay, so that is the method of, or this, that is step, that is tempering. So store for 30 to 45 days. So after tempering for 30 to 45 days, we have to dehull it with the help of stone chakki. Okay, and at the end you will get uh, splitted pulses, that is dal. Okay, this is the first method. And second method is seed material is taken. After that we have to clean it. After that we have to soak it into water for 8 to 14 hours. Now we have to sun dry it for 1 to 2 days, primarily primary milling. So after sun drying we are going to mill it, and after milling, oil and water treatment, sun drying 1 to 2 days, dehulling in stone chakkis, and you will get end product, that is dal. Okay, so normally in Maharashtra this second method is used for home purpose dal preparation. Okay, so these are the two methods for the dal making from the pulses. So third one, that is cooking uses of cookery, or the use of pulses in cookery. Third point is coating. Okay, so it helps to give a coating to the food item and prevent them from disintegrating. That is, Bengal gram flour is used in preparations of fried groundnut snacks, fried fish, potato vada, paneer pakoda, mushroom pakoda, and cutlet. So here is one diagram of fried fish. Okay, so that is the coating material. So normally we use besan or the gram flour for the coating, but in some cases or sometimes rice flour is also used with combination of Bengal gram, or in Manchurian we use corn flour also as a coating material. Okay, so bhajia and garnishing of. Okay, so here is one diagram of bhajia, that is the example of coating. After that, flavor dispersions. Then what is meant by flavor dispersion? Pulses improve flavor and consistency of dal. Some amount of dal is added in masala powders, which helps in uniform dispersion of flavor in the preparation like sambar. Okay, so when we talk about the sambar masala, then in sambar masala some roasted pulses are added. Okay, in proper combination, so that the typical or special flavor of sambar will be imparted to that curry. Okay, so that is the flavor dispersion. After that, garnishing. So what is meant by garnishing? Garnishing is nothing but to decorate that particular food so that it is more attractive. So sev is prepared from besan, which is used for garnishing pani puri, pohe, upma, sev puri and misal. Okay, so this is the garnishing of pani puri. Here is diagram. After that, garnishing of sev puri. Okay, so for garnishing you can use coriander leaves, you can use small size sev. After that you can also use tomato pieces and onion pieces. So that is the garnishing. Now here is one activity. So name of activity is to find out the effect of suitable conditions on seeds. So materials needed, the jars, wet paper towel or cotton seeds, and water. So what is method? To start, fill a jar with wet paper towels. Make sure to wring out the paper towels so there is no excess water in the jar. Then place seed in the jar near the bottom half of the jar. Observations: check the seedlings for their germ length and determine the germination time. For further experiments, you can compare germination characteristics for different seeds types. So what is the conclusion of this activity? So germination is a process which not only reduces cooking time but increases the nutritive value, appearance and texture. Okay, so here you are able to see that the sprouting or the germination of the seeds. Okay, so as germination is started, then as that particular seed will get proper conditions, then it will start to germinate. Okay, and as it is start to germinated, then plumule and radicle will be came out. Okay, so plumule converted into the shoot and radicle will be converted into the root of that particular newly born plant. Okay, so this is the uses of cookery. After that, it is a very important point from the pulses, that is anti-nutritional factors of pulses and their elimination. Okay, so what are the anti-nutritional factors? So anti-nutritional factors are natural chemical compounds which reduces bioavailability of vital nutrients. So these are generally found in legumes and pulses. Details of anti-nutritional factors and their elimination techniques are given in table below. Okay, so what is anti-nutritional factors? So anti-nutritional factors can disturb or take parts in your metabolic reactions. Okay, and whatever the metabolic reactions or proper digestion is run into your body, they will disturb the normal metabolic pathways of digestion. Okay, and there will be no proper absorption or digestion of food. So we will see the table 10.4, that is anti-nutritional factors of pulses and their elimination. Okay, so first anti-nutritional factor is lectins. So it reduces the bioavailability of nutrients. So whatever the food we consume, then that lectins will reduce bioavailability, so that it will do not allow to absorb the nutrients from the consumed food, which is due to direct action of lectins on digestive enzymes. So lectins will act on digestive enzymes, and due to lectins, digestive enzymes will not able to perform its regular functioning in proper way. Okay, so these are the lectins. So this is the anti-nutritional effect of lectins on digestibility. Then it appears in lentil, pea, pigeon pea and rice bean. Okay, so how we are able to eliminate it? That is preliminary soaking prior to autoclaving cooking. Okay, so by soaking some pulses, we are able to avoid or to inhibit the action or effect of anti-nutritional factors. So second one, that is tannins. It is polyphenol. So it is responsible for low protein digestibility and decreased amino acid availability. Okay, so it acts upon the absorption of or the digestion of the amino acids or proteins. So it is present in cowpea, chickpea, pigeon pea, mung bean, urad bean and pea, and we can avoid this effect of tannins by tannins mainly appears in seed coat, so that dehulling can reduce tannins. Okay, so when we are going to dehull or remove the husk of pulses, then the tannins will be removed from that pulse. Third one, that is protease inhibitor. It inhibit the activity of proteolytic enzymes. So what are the proteolytic enzymes? Proteolytic enzymes are the enzymes which acts on proteins. Okay, so it is present in pigeon pea, kidney bean, lentil and chickpea, and we can eliminate it by heating, germination, autoclaving and soaking. Okay, so fourth anti-nutritional factor which is present in pulses is phytic acid, and it affects on the mineral bioavailability. Okay, so it will disturb or it do not allow to absorb minerals from the consumed foods. So it is present into the China's or Chinese legume, pea, faba pea, dry bean, lentil and black bean, and we can avoid it by roasting, germination, soaking and cooking. After that, lathyrogen. So it is also one of the anti-nutritional factor. If consumed in excess quantity for long time, it causes paralysis in the legs. So it is due to mainly lathyrus bean. Okay, and it can cause very hazardous effect on your body, that it can cause paralysis when you consume it for longer time, such as more than 3 months. Okay, so we can inhibit the effect or elimination of lathyrogen by soaking, parboiling, roasting and germination. Sixth one, that is saponins. So saponins are present in two chickpea, mung bean and pigeon pea, and it is also present into the green potatoes. Okay, so normally our mother avoid to buy green color potato. Why? There is one scientific reason behind that, that green potatoes contains saponins. Okay, and it is one of the anti-nutritional factors, so we don't have to buy green color potatoes. So saponin reduces the nutritive value of pulses. It is present in mainly chickpea, mung bean, pigeon pea and also in potato, but potato is not included under the pulses. So here in your textbook potato is not included. Okay, but I have told you for your knowledge why we don't buy green color potato. So we can eliminate the saponins by soaking, germination and cooking. Okay, so seventh anti-nutritional, that is oligosaccharides. So accumulation of flatulence, that is gas disorder in the intestinal tract, results in discomfort, need abdominal rumblings, cramps, pain, diarrhea, etc. Okay, so it is mainly present into the red gram, chickpea, black gram and green gram. And the effect of oligosaccharides as anti-nutritional factor can be eliminated by soaking, germination, cooking. Okay, so these are some anti-nutritional factors which are present into the pulses. Okay, so here we completed the second point from this chapter, that is pulses, and now we are going to start third topic from the 10th chapter, that is cereal pulses and oilseed, that is oilseeds. Okay, so oilseeds are the seeds from which oil can be extracted. Okay, so normally oilseeds are seeds from which we are going to produce oil. Okay, so oilseeds constitute a very important group of commercial crops in India. The residue extracted after oil, that is oil cake, used as protein rich food and cattle feed, etc. So next point is composition and nutritional values of oilseeds. Due to high quality protein, fat, oil soluble vitamins like vitamin A, E, or oilseeds add important nutritional values to diet. Okay, so with this two, vitamin A and vitamin E, vitamin D and vitamin K is also fat soluble. So oilseeds are considered as the main source of high quality vegetable oils. Oilseeds have high fat content and many of them are rich in proteins. They are considered as concentrated source of energy. Groundnuts are particularly rich in B complex vitamins. Soybean are rich in protein. Okay, so that is also enlisted into table number 10.5. We will see it after some time. So uses of oil seeds and nuts in cookery. So how we are going to use this oil seeds in cooking purpose. So first one, that is decorating. So oil seeds and nuts are used for decorating purpose in many preparations, such as cashew nuts, pista, almonds are used in halwa, kheer, shira, laddus, srikhand, ice cream. So whatever the dry fruits are there are also included under the oil seeds, and we use all this dry nuts or dry fruits for the decorating purpose or garnishing purpose. So coconut on poha, cashew nut on pulao, sesame seeds on buns and bhakri. Okay, so these are the examples of oil seeds and nuts in cookery, that is for the decorating. Okay, so second point is that thickening. So we can also use the oil seeds and nuts as a thickeners or thickening agents. So coconut, gingerly seeds, groundnut, cashew nut are ground and used as a thickening agent in the preparation of gravies. Okay, so coconut normally we call it as a khobra in Marathi or narar. That then gingerly seeds is nothing but a khaskhas. Okay, khaskhas is also used as a thickening agent. Groundnut. Okay, so we use groundnut powder for regular curry preparation. Cashew nut, okay, are ground and used as a thickening agents in the preparation of gravies. So all these oil seeds are used in the preparation of gravies. Third point, that is flavorings. They impart a desirable flavor to products like soups, porridge and kheer. Okay, so it also used as a flavoring agents. Identity of grain. While preparing sago khichdi or sago vada, it is difficult to maintain the identity of grain and prevent sogginess without adding crushed groundnuts to it. Okay, so all of you know that in sago vada, or we normally call it as a shabudana vada or shabu vada. So in that we use crushed groundnut to it, and it is very crispy and tasty. So fifth one, that is extraction of oil. Vegetable oils are extracted from oil seeds which are used as cooking media. For example, groundnut, soya bean, coconut, sunflower, gingerly seeds. Okay, so extraction of oils, and lot of oils we use for the cooking purpose. Without cooking oils we are not able to make lot of food products. Sixth one, that is snacks. So roasted or fried and salted groundnuts and cashew nuts are used as snacks. For example, salted cashew nuts and groundnuts. Okay, so that is masala groundnuts or masala cashew. You can also call it as a salted cashew or salted groundnuts. So these are also prepared by roasting or frying. Okay, seventh one, that is sweets. So groundnuts, sesame seeds and cashew nuts are roasted, powdered and used for sweet preparations like chikkis, barfi, halwa, groundnut laddu, til vadi, til laddu. Okay, so in our country on the occasion of Makar Sankranti, we prepare til vadi or til laddu. Okay, so here is one diagram in which some oil seeds are shown. Okay, so first one, that is groundnut, that is shingdane, mustard seeds. Okay, that is mori, linseed or flax seeds, that is java, sesame, that is tir, soybean, in Marathi we are going to call it as a soybean, sunflower seeds. Okay, after that cotton seeds, and last one, that is coconut. Okay, that is dried coconut is also known as copra. Okay, now to cobra, it is copra, copra. Okay, so do you know what is given in do you know box? That is soy products such as tofu, tempeh, etc. are among the richest source of proteins in vegetarian diet. Okay, so we can also consume the soya chunks. Okay, so all this whatever the products which we make from the soya bean, it is a rich source of proteins in mainly in the vegetarian diet. Okay, so nutritive values of major oil seeds per 100 grams is given in this table number 10.5. Okay, so you have to go through this nutritive values of major oil seeds, so that you will get idea about the nutritive value of oil seeds. Okay, so points to be remembered here, we have completed the 10th chapter, that is cereal pulses and oil seeds. Here some points are given, you have to go through it. Okay, I have already explained you all these things, but here is a summary of this whole chapter is given, so you have to go through it. So thank you very much. If anybody have any doubt regarding this topic, then you can tell me or you can ask me. Okay, so thank you very much.